At this moment in hockey history, Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 7th place in the Central Division after 27 games played. They have a record of 7-14-6. 20 points has them way behind first place. We'll update the Central here in just a moment. But the Preds' next game will take place on the road, where the Predators have a road record this season of 2-8-4. 2-8-4 for the Nashville Predators. 60 goals on the season scored, 85 goals against. That's a goal differential of -25. For the Nashville Predators, once they wrap up this last game of the road trip in Ottawa, they will come home for Tuesday to face off against Calgary Flames, and immediately back on the road Thursday at Dallas, Saturday at Colorado, the 17th of December versus New York Rangers at Bridgestone Arena, and the 19th of December versus the Pittsburgh Penguins at Bridgestone Arena. Now, quick update on the Central Division before we get into the Preds and the Sens. The Minnesota Wild still lead the Central Division, first place, 38 points, but the Winnipeg Jets have tied them up at 38 points apiece. The Dallas Stars in third place with 32. The chase pack begins with Colorado Avalanche at 28, St. Louis at 26, Utah at 24. And then the two teams that are pretty much out of it right now, at least, the Nashville Predators are in 7th place in the Central Division with 20 points, and the Chicago Blackhawks in 8th place in the Central Division with only 18 points on the season. Now, for the Preds and the Ottawa Senators, this is the first of two meetings this regular season, this one taking place in Ottawa, so the next one will take place at Bridgestone Arena. That will happen on February the 3rd. If you haven't been paying attention to the Eastern Conference a whole lot so far this season, the Ottawa Senators are 11-12-2 overall with 24 points. That's 6th in the Atlantic Division, but on home ice, a very good record of 7-5-1. So 7 of the Sens' 11 wins coming on home ice. 77 goals for, 81 goals against, the goal differential of -4. Much more impressive than the Predators, that's for sure. The most recent stretch of 5 games goes back to November the 25th when the Ottawa Senators scored a 4-3 win versus the Calgary Flames. On the 27th of November, it was a 4-3 win at the San Jose Sharks. On the 30th of November, a 5-2 loss at the LA Kings, finishing up that road trip on the 1st of December with a 4-3 shootout loss at the Anaheim Ducks. Returning home on the 5th of December, a 2-1 victory versus Detroit. That's their most recent game. Was Linus Ullmark getting the start, going 19 out of 20, then picking up the victory. Before we get into the matchup and the NHL rankings at this moment between these two teams, update on the Nashville Predators injury front. Ryan O'Reilly listed as week to week. That is troublesome for the Nashville Predators, already having difficulty scoring. Their now top-line center, who hasn't missed a game since joining the Predators, is going to be out for week to week with an injury. Now, let's get into the matchup between the Preds and the Sens. Coming into this game, the Predators have the worst offense in the NHL. 32nd overall, 2.22 goals per game, and to be honest with you, it's dropping. Somehow it's getting worse. It seems inconceivable that it could get any worse, but it is getting worse. Multiple games in a row with 2 goals or less. I don't know how. The Ottawa Senators, 3.08 goals per game. Reasonable. 14th, right there in the middle of the pack in the NHL. And the goals against, 3.20. That's 25th in the NHL. The Predators are at 3.15. That's 22nd overall in the NHL. In the shots for category, the Preds generating 29.2. That's 14th. Ottawa generating 31 shots on goal per game. That's 4th best in the NHL. In the shots against category, Ottawa also on a top 10 metric. 27.4 shots against per game is 8th best, while the Predators giving up 29.9 is 24th overall in the NHL. Preds power play is sinking fast. 19.1% now. Conversion rate is down to 19th in the NHL. 16 conversions out of 84 opportunities. The Ottawa Senators going the other direction. 26.4% on their conversion rate is 7th best in the league. 23 conversions out of 87 opportunities. The Preds PK still first in the league, but it is also dipping the percentage now down to 87.5%. That's still rated first. They've now given up 11 power play goals against. They've given up a power play goal in a couple of games in a row now. The Ottawa Senators penalty kill is 75.7%. Kill rate is 25th in the league. They've given up 18 power play goals against. So the Ottawa Senators find themselves in 6th place in the Atlantic Division, 4 points better than the Nashville Predators at this point in the season. But in the statistical matchup, 3 top 10 metrics, and the Nashville Predators with 1. So the Ottawa Senators look on paper to be favored in this one. The way the Predators have been playing lately, it's hard to predict the Nashville Predators can come away with a victory under almost any circumstance. When it comes to the top scorers for each of these teams, let's talk about the visiting Nashville Predators first. Why not? 7 goals and 16 assists for 23 points for Roman Josi. Philip Forsberg's got 9 and 8 for 17. O'Reilly's 5 goals and 9 assists for 14 points. Remember, out week to week. Steven Stamkos is at 7 goals and 6 assists for 13 points. And Jonathan Marchessault's at 5 goals and 8 assists for 13 points. That should sound extremely familiar. It's because there was absolutely no movement in the statistics for the Nashville Predators in any meaningful way other than negative. Over on the other side of things, the Ottawa Senators are led by Stützle, 10 goals, 20 assists, 30 points. And Tkachuk's got 13 goals and 16 assists for 29 points. Batherson's at 9 and 18 for 27 overall. Norris at 11 goals, 6 assists, 17 points. And Giroux, 6 and 11 for 17 in net. Linus Ullmark just got the victory versus Detroit Red Wings. He's got a record of 6-7-2 at 2.93 goals against, an 8.91 save percentage on the season. UC Saros, the record, bad, 6-11-5. Almost as many overtime losses as he has regulation wins. And when you look at it in reality, this is a 6-16 record for the starting netminder of the Nashville Purse. 2.64 goals against, 9.11 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. Now, you got to go back and talk about what happened in the second night of back-to-backs. The Nashville Predators were in Montreal, started in Toronto, then went the second night to Montreal, and then Saturday will be in Ottawa. It's the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap. It's coming up next right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.